Protests in the streets and wall-to-wall media coverage on the negative impacts of tariffs. Did Donald Trump just make a big mistake, or is this just Democrats overplaying their hand? Coming up, we give you a full analysis on how this weekend's events may impact the 2026 midterm elections right here in California, and how we are organizing the campaign to take back our state. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state representative representing District 75 in the California State Assembly. Well, you saw the protests probably this weekend in several cities here in California and across the country. They were all organized by far-left political groups, well-funded, well-planned, but the timing just was coincidental with a weekend of wall-to-wall media coverage on Trump's Liberation Day announcement that he was slapping tariffs on other countries for their unfair trade practices. Now, I heard from a lot of conservatives here in California over the weekend who were getting really nervous. They looked at their stock portfolios and they said, Carl, even I'm worried. I support President Trump, but boy, my stock portfolio took a nosedive last week on Thursday and Friday, and there's so much turmoil and all this negative news coverage. And then I see protests breaking out in the streets. Let me sort it all out for you, both the protest angle as well as the tariffs. And it really indicates that the Democrats do have a game plan that they seem to be settling on as we go into the 2026 elections. It's very similar to the game plan they had in 2018. Before we get to that, I want you to know we can win the 2026 elections. I've never been more bullish on the direction of our state because we see voters are unhappy with the Democrat supermajority. And 65% of Californians in the latest PPIC poll say that they consider that the state is on the wrong track. Wrong track means we don't like the people in charge and what they're doing and their policies. Democrats also have made such a mess, from high cost of living to crime to homelessness to failing schools and everything in between. All of these policies are starting to catch up with them, and voters are not happy. Latinos are dramatically shifting in California to the center and to the right. At Reform California, we have a game plan for the 2026 midterm. It's all about recruiting, training, and supporting good candidates for target seats, as well as putting our reforms directly on the ballot using the Citizens Initiative process. We're working on the California Voter ID Initiative, as well as a Taxpayer Protection Act. We need your help, though. We do not get funding from the government. We don't get billionaires coming in and writing big campaign checks like the Democrats have. We need grassroots support from you. So I'm inviting you to be part of this campaign. And the things you need to do is, just as you see those protests breaking out on TV on the streets in California, those are all well planned by political groups. We want you to be part of the resistance, the counter campaigns to take back our state, to fight the left. So we need to do three things. Number one, go to the website, reformcalifornia.org, and sign up. At the bottom, there's a sign up for getting updates on our campaign, getting our voter guide, knowing which candidates in your area are endorsed, knowing how to sign our petitions for voter ID. Go to that website, reformcalifornia.org, and sign up at the bottom. First name, last name, email, phone number, and zip code. That way we can personalize the information, send you the voter guide for your local area. Second, I need your help with the California Voter ID Initiative, as well as supporting our candidates in 2026. And the way we need your help more than ever is through a contribution. I know no one likes to part with their money, but think about how much more cost of living will go up in California if Democrats continue to impose their bad policies. Think about how much you paid to gas up your tank and how it's $2 more per gallon than the national average. $20 contribution is just 10 gallons of gas at a $2 premium versus the national average. Please help us out. Chip in a contribution of any amount at reformcalifornia.org. And then finally, like this video, subscribe to this channel so that we can continue to bring this show to people every day at 5 o'clock. By liking and subscribing to this channel, you are going to help us break through the algorithm and spread our message with this video. So what happened over the weekend? Well, you saw it. We saw wall-to-wall coverage on Trump's tariffs. Now, the media did not honestly cover the tariffs. There's a reason why Trump is doing what he's doing. And I want to go through, the unfair trade practices. The media said you're going to pay $1,500 to $5,000 more in higher costs because tariffs are taxes. And there's some truth that a tariff is a quote unquote tax because it applies a fee, a charge to a good that is being imported into the United States. So that much is at least arguably true, but it's not a zero-sum game. Tariffs are a dynamic policy that have a whole bunch of ripple effects in the economy. What we do with a tariff might mean that you buy an American product that now is cheaper. It also might mean that people are going to start investing in manufacturing jobs here in the United States. Remember, if you say, well, we like the cheap goods we get without high tariffs from foreign countries, it's more affordable that way. Well, if you have no job because we lost our manufacturing base, it's not very affordable no matter what the price of a Chinese cheap product is. There is a myth of free trade that Trump is trying to negate and combat with this policy. And I do support the outcome that President Trump is trying to achieve. We'll see if his strategy of going full bore works. He's an aggressive businessman. I think he knows what he's doing. We'll see what our trading partners have to say and how the negotiations play out. But we do not have free trade in this country. We've got tariffs that we have to adjust. And the media said, well, Trump is raising tariffs by more than the tariff that the other countries are charging. On one level, that's true, but the media also is lying to you because there's a number of other unfair trade practices that Trump is trying to negate. So a tariff is only one way that they discriminate against our goods when we have free trade. It's only one way for them to put their thumb on the scale and not have a level playing field. So you have a tariff, but then you have taxes that foreign countries apply to our goods. Taxes. Third, you have subsidies that they give to their companies to cut the cost of production so that they're cheaper products than ours. And then finally, the fourth thing you have are mandates and regulations where they basically say you're not allowed to sell this, or you're only allowed to sell so much, or you have to go through this process, or your intellectual property has to be disclosed to us. A whole bunch of regulations and mandates that rob us of fair trade. So it's not just tariffs, it's tax, it's subsidy, and it's the mandates and regulations. Those are the four things that cause other countries to cheat, in essence. None of that was explained this weekend. And that's what Trump is really trying to address. He's trying to fix those problems so that we can create more manufacturing jobs here in the United States, and that when we buy products, it really is a level playing field. This is important. We absolutely want the cheaper goods, as cheap as possible, but we can't have an economy with no manufacturing happening in our country. Our manufacturing base has gone from 25% down to just 10%. This is a big deal, and Trump is trying to address this, and he should be given credit for this. None of that was covered this weekend on the media. Instead, you saw hysterical coverage like what you saw with Fox 5 in San Diego.
New tariffs are already pushing some San Diego County business owners to make immediate adjustments.
Yeah, others are choosing to hold off, hoping for some clarity on the impacts. Our Jennifer Franco is in City Heights for us tonight.
By the way, no businesses are making immediate adjustments. I'll tell you that right now. We don't see any impact right now to prices. We see no impact right now to supply chain. Okay, trade and supply chain internationally takes months to work out. And so this is not true. Oh, some businesses are already starting to make changes. No, in fact, when you watch the package, you'll realize their own one business owner, which they went to a foreign food store, which would be the most prone to being impacted by tariffs. They've said they've done nothing. They've changed no prices, no supply chain issues.
Right, with some local reaction.
Vietnam, everything's gonna be China.
The vast majority of items inside Nicholas Tran's family-owned supermarket in City Heights are imported from Asia. That part of the world is in the crosshairs of a growing trade war with the U.S.
For our store, it's gonna be a lot more pain because we mainly deal with the countries involved: Vietnam, China, Thailand, Japan.
On top of a 10% universal tariff announced by President Trump Wednesday, some nations will have it worse than others. Chinese goods will face reciprocal 34% tariffs in addition to the existing 20% levies. Cambodia is in for 49% duties, while Vietnam isn't far behind at 46%.
In my store, about 70%. of the items will be affected. Some items will be affected 34, 35%. Other items will be affected 50%.
While Tran says he's not seeing vendors change prices on him yet, others are.
I am seeing
There you go. He's not seeing any changes in prices. Now, what does she have to say?
across the board price increases from a lot of the people that I buy from Canada and China.
Kimberly Neighbors owns Replay Toys on
Prices going across the board increase. That's what she's saying. What's been happening for the last 5 years? I don't know. Something called inflation. But
University Avenue in North Park. Customers are paying more, but she's trying to avoid passing down higher costs where she can.
And things get to be a price that I don't feel comfortable selling it for, I'm not carrying it anymore.
And she's also
not raising her prices is what she's saying. She's saying, I'm seeing higher prices, but I'm not increasing my prices. Doesn't seem to add up. Again, they probably had to really shake the tree to find business owners. And by the way, both of these business owners are in very Democrat areas of San Diego County.
trying to stay proactive.
I put in huge orders to help keep my back stock full.
But when it comes to food, Tran says there's only so much hoarding he can do. He's not raising prices right now and is waiting to see how tariffs shake out and what changes.
Raising prices right now. So they shook the tree hard, couldn't find anyone raising prices right now. Again, we'll see if there are price increases. We'll see if negotiation ends up changing Trump's initial, smackdown on these tariffs. Meanwhile, what you've got is, liberal politicians trying to grandstand on this. Oh, here's Governor Gavin Newsom posting a very humiliating, really mock-worthy video to his X account as to how he is going to take action on tariffs. Dude, you're a governor. You have no role here. Shut up and sit down. No foreign leaders saying, oh my gosh, Gavin Newsom just posted a Twitter video and that means that I'm going to do a separate deal with him. No. So what did he have to say? Listen in.
Donald Trump's tariffs do not represent all Americans, particularly those that I represent here in the fifth largest economy in the world, the state of California. We value international trade. We value our manufacturing base, the largest
Value your manufacturing base? Bitch, please. You've been destroying manufacturing jobs with your high taxes, mandates, and regulations. People can't move jobs out of California fast enough. We value manufacturing here in California, which is why everyone's leaving at a record pace. It's just so embarrassing. This guy's talking about, we value manufacturing jobs. Couldn't tell it from your policies for the last 20 years as a Democrat supermajority.
Manufacturing economy in the United States of America. We look forward to continuing to strengthen those ties, strengthen those bonds. I'll remind all our international trading partners, California is a stable trading partner, and we hope
you're not a stable trading partner. Again, your economy is in tatters and people are leaving the state in droves. We're a stable trading partner. Come and do business with us. Well, the other little thing here is his office put out a statement saying that he's asking world leaders when they do reciprocal tariffs to exclude the nation state of California from those tariffs. First, there's no way that happens under international law. That just doesn't happen. Period. Full stop. He knows it. He's a liar. He's gaslighting people. This is a phony video. It's a dishonest video, but that's what he's good at. He's just a liar. And of course, nobody's going to take him up on it, but he's grandstanding on an issue that he knows nothing about and trying to claim that he's for manufacturing jobs when he's been one of the worst detriments to manufacturing in the United States through bad policies here in California. Go away, Gavin. Now, this weekend, you saw wall-to-wall coverage, very dishonest coverage on the tariff policy changes that Trump is trying to effect. Hysterical coverage designed to tank the stock market. We'll just say it right now. They would love to see the stock market crater. And let me just say this. I'm not selling my stocks because you have these fear-based changes in the stock market, not based on actual economic conditions, not based on what will likely happen, but rather just emotion. So don't take advantage of that or don't get hurt by that by selling. That's, again, I'm not giving investment advice, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing. But the media and Democrats, they want the stock market to crash. There are a lot of billionaires that benefit from the broken trade system, which is why they also are out there moving money around, manipulating stock prices, and pushing the media to do all this hysterical coverage, dishonest coverage. It's been pretty like nonstop. Everywhere you turn, it's nonstop. Trade's going to kill us. Tariffs are wrong. He's going to implode the economy. Your stock market portfolio is going to go down. You're going to pay $1,500 more in prices. Californians pay $3,000 more for the price of a gallon of gas each year. When you take the $2 premium times a 20-gallon gas tank of gas times gassing up on average once a week, you're talking about having to earn $3,000 of earnings to pay the higher taxes for just the gas price premium in California. I don't see wall-to-wall media coverage on Gavin Newsom and how awful he is and taking money out of working families' pockets. No. The media covers that up. That's their job. The liberal media protects bad policies from Democrat politicians. They don't talk about the cost of living spike from their bad policies. Oh, but they're out there talking about trade and it's a one-way street and it's going to equate to $1,500. Again, these are real problems that Trump has to address to defend our economy and to create a more level playing field. That the billionaires have sold out manufacturing jobs in America. They've sold out the American consumer. They've made us addicted to cheap, subsidized products from other countries. And at any time, these countries, when they get enough of our manufacturing base, can turn around and say, we're going to actually raise prices. And you don't have a manufacturing base to change anything. You're going to pay the price. You're going to be at our whim. And of course, all the billionaires will continue to tell politicians in office, a year from now, 10 years from now, go along with whatever the foreign leaders are demanding. We're at their mercy because we're invested in this unfair trade system. That's the truth of what's going on. You want to talk about the cabal and who's benefiting from a broken system. There are a bunch of billionaires that benefit from unfair trade policies. Anyways, so let's go back to the protests. So this weekend, you also saw protests. You have wall-to-wall coverage on the liberal media saying how bad it's going to be in California, for this trade issue. And again, I'm not buying it. And then you turn around and you see all these protests. Hands-off protests take place in San Diego County and across the country. And of course, they've got these pictures of thousands of people in the streets. There's 16,000 people here in San Diego that came to the streets, estimated. Again, there's a lot of people who voted against Trump. They hate him. So there are going to be people out there that when they're given an invite through the various Democrat platforms are going to say, okay, today's the day I show up and protest. But these protests were planned well in advance, and they were funded by left-wing groups. Again, these are real people. Not all of them are paid, but they're organized. The signs are printed. The T-shirts are distributed. All of this was sequenced out a while back. And it was very reminiscent of the protests we saw in 2017, where people were running around saying that they're supporting science, and they were, women were wearing those bizarre anatomical hats. I can't say it on the YouTube channel because it doesn't like the word, but you know what kind of hats I'm talking about. We've seen this movie before, and it's designed to rile up their base. Because right now, Democrats are getting their butts kicked. They had a really bad election. They're wrong on the issues, and they need desperately to try to agitate and keep their base engaged and say that the fight continues. And there's a certain percentage of people that buy this crap. So I'm not terribly concerned, but I do want to share with you, they are getting kind of violent. Here are some protesters. Here's Julie Hamill up in L.A., videotaping people getting beaten up. And here's a Turning Point USA booth handing out materials for conservatives. Take a look what they do. They grab the booth, they tear it apart. Look at that. The so-called peaceful leftists in Los Angeles basically tearing down a booth, destroying property. This is lawlessness. This is what they stand for. This is what the protests stand for. These aren't peaceful protesters. These are thugs. Look at this. They literally destroy the Turning Point USA materials just because they don't want free speech. They can't handle a differing point of view from the leftist nonsense that they're bringing to the table. And they just march off. No, you don't get to You don't get to have your First Amendment rights in a public park. We're going to destroy your material and just walk off. It's all caught on tape. Look, at Reform California, we know that the left isn't just going to roll over. They're going to agitate. They're going to organize. They're going to protest. They're going to have media doing wall-to-wall coverage like what you saw this weekend, the gaslighting on the tariff plan, unfair coverage. We need to stay the course. We've been winning, and we will continue to win with your help. So go online to the website, reformcalifornia.org. We have candidates to recruit in every office, from school board to city council, all the way up to state assembly, state senate, the statewide offices of governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general. These are offices that we're going to compete for, and we have a good chance of winning in 2026 if the turnout is right. We also have our voter ID initiative, our taxpayer protection initiative. Got to collect signatures for both of those, get those on the ballot, and pass them in the 2026 election. Sign up at the bottom of the website, reformcalifornia.org, chip in a contribution, and again, help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like and subscribe to this video and this social media platform. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.